In the name of the Father, and the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, one God. Christos Anesti. So this is, well, I'll just start it like this. So today is Antipascha. Antipascha. Now, I'm sorry Reader Michael's not here, because years and years and years ago, when I first said that word, or when we first discussed Antipascha, he just was so perplexed. He said, "Do you mean antipasta?" and it's not funny. It's not a joke, really. The meaning of the anti part is the same, and that's why I brought that up. Because if you say like the dish, the Italian dish antipasta, what is it? It's instead of or in the place of pasta. So you have salad, and meat, and, in the place of, instead of. It doesn't mean against pasta, although there's a lot of war on pasta too these days. But in the place of pasta. Pascha, in the place of Pascha. Wow, why do we have to do that? What do you mean Antipascha? Antipascha means that, well, why aren't we today not simply reading the gospel of the resurrection all over again? And just keep going. Just keep going. Because guess what? Next Sunday, we will do that. It's our feast day, the Myrrhbearers, and we will do the gospel of the resurrection all over again. And processions outside, and fireworks, and whatever. Because it's just a continuation. It's one day. The 40 days is like one day. But today, we have something called instead of Pascha. Did you ever study that? Like, why is it called instead of Pascha? Well, it's because of the attitude, or what's going on in the thoughts of Thomas. Because of Thomas, now today we have Antipascha. Because of Thomas. And also because it gives us an opportunity to do what's called rededication of the feast. Rededication of the feast. We start over again. We reboot it. You could say that in the modern English, reboot it somehow. But really, it's because this unbelief of Thomas. Unless I see the mark of the nails, unless I put my hand in his side. So now just imagine. Pascha, the resurrection. But the apostles aren't much better. They don't really believe either. They don't believe the women. Do you remember that part? They don't believe when the women tell them. It seems to them, the scripture says, an idle tale. Come on, who are these people? And then he appears to them the first day. Right on the day of his resurrection, it says, "Peace be to you." Then they believe. So we can't make Thomas single him out for his doubt. Because really, because of his doubt, we have this rededication, this Antipascha, which is, my Lord and my God. He goes from complete faithlessness to total immersed belief. True, he has to see, and like Christ says, blessed are those who don't need any theology. God save us from theology when we don't need it. But to have just pure faith. Christ is risen from the dead. Okay, I believe that. Just, from childhood, when you're told that, and you don't need any explanations, any proofs, anything like that. But Thomas, for all of us who need some explanation, how do you know this to be the truth? Thomas is the one. He's the one that shows us. Because by saying that, Christ, in his great love and condescension, came in front of him and said, "Thomas, peace be to you too." It's a beautiful sign, if you will. So now, okay, Thomas and us now are recalibrated somehow, rededicated. We can continue with our possible celebration, like next week and through this week. All right. Let's apply that momentarily to us. Because we are, like Thomas, you have Pascha, it should change everything in my life, right? And yet, this week, this very bright week, I still had some doubts, some complaints, some problems that I thought were insurmountable, some suffering that I wish I didn't go through. Right? Why? Why? Do we have to see the risen Lord with the nails right in front of us, like waving in front of us, in his resurrected body, to leave all of that stuff where it belongs? Right? We still have all of it. And by the way, the apostles had all of it. To a man, with the exception of John, the theologian, to a man, they were all killed for Christ. So do you think they didn't have their problems, their own crosses that were coming ahead of them? And even John was tortured a lot too, even though he didn't get killed for Christ. So, what is that teaching us? It's teaching us that in the resurrection, in the upper room, like this week we're in the upper room, right? In the upper room, we can have this joy. We can gather together in this holy place, in this holy mystical place, and nothing can penetrate that. You know what will penetrate? Only if you let it penetrate. If you take your mind off of the risen Christ and say, my Lord and my God, but I have too many problems, then it'll penetrate. Then it'll affect us somehow negatively and harm us, do us harm. But that's not what this time is for. This time is for all of that to be transfigured. So let me read. I found this old volume. I'm trying to remember, 92. It's The Year of Grace of the Lord by a monk of the Eastern Church. And he's talking about all of this time. The time of Easter, the time of Pascha, all through Pentecost. And on this Sunday, he's highlighting, of course, the Sunday of rededication, Sunday of Thomas. The church wants to draw our attention to the attitude of the Apostle Thomas, right? So the first time Jesus brings peace to all the troubled minds of the apostles themselves. The second time, he gives them peace so that they may transmit it to the others. For he immediately adds, do you love this? I breathe on this. So this is like mini Pentecost, if you will. But he breathes on them the Holy Spirit. He gives them that breath, ruah in Hebrew, which also means spirit in Hebrew too. He breathes on them the Spirit, and he says, receive the Holy Spirit. Whosoever sins you forgive, they're forgiven. So already, he's begun, he's instituted, you could say, the possibility of confession, the possibility of repentance of their sins, like in a very mystical, kind of sacramental way. He breathes on them. Forgive their sins. Whoever sins you forgive, they'll be forgiven. Whoever sins you don't forgive, they won't be forgiven. So the church, so this is the beginning of giving the apostles who ordained the bishops, who ordained priests, all through the ages, this authority to bind or to loose, to forgive the sin or to retain it for whatever reason. No repentance or something. I mean, we could do a retreat on that. Like, why would a priest say, no forgiveness, not this time. You have to wait or do this or do that. So, when he does that, he's not just teaching the apostles to have peace in themselves, but now he gives them the power, the authority, but also the power to bring peace to everyone. Do you hear that? To bring peace to everyone. I don't know about you, but when I go to confession, every time, even if it's 10 minutes or if it's 5 hours, and I've had both, it's like a big weight is always lifted. There's always peace, right? Even if there's okay, now I have to do this, or I shouldn't have done it, whatever. There's always this peace. This is the peace that was instituted today when Christ breathes on the apostles. That same breath, you could say, goes into us, right? And we receive that peace. What? To get reoriented towards Pascha again. You see? Just to be able to celebrate that, the Antipascha. Say, now I see why. So that I personally could receive the peace of the resurrection if I have been struggling even with the belief in it, but with the experience of it, with the participation in it, with whatever. So I can lay everything aside. Certainly any earthly cares, you see. This is the 8th day. This is the institution of the new day, right? When Pascha is literally given to us personally, like on the 8th day. And that's why every Sunday, every single Sunday of the year, we need that. The church has said, it's not just going to be once a year on Pascha. It is, par excellence, once a year. But how about, because we need that reorientation, how do you want to say it, like rejuvenation? Every Sunday will be Pascha. Every Sunday will be a mini Pascha. And you could say like a mini Antipascha. Reorientation. Because what does this do then? Every single Sunday after today will be resurrection again. Every single Sunday after this one. By the way, this one, if you come for the Vespers or for the Orthodox or listen to the hymns, you don't hear any resurrectional hymns. You hear Christ is risen. We never stop saying that during this time. But you don't hear like the tropars, like when the stone was sealed by the Jews, or any of the regular resurrectional tropar. Why? What has happened? This reorientation, this personal acceptance of Pascha, so that for the rest of the year, for every Sunday that comes from now till we get to Pascha again, I can have the resurrection. I can celebrate the way the Sunday, the new day of the kingdom, needs to be celebrated every week. So that's why this is an important Sunday, even though it's dare I say, like a quieter Sunday or a less enthusiastic Sunday. Next Sunday, it's very different. It goes back, it harkens right back to the original Paschal celebration. We'll do it all over again. But not today. Today's for you to figure, it's kind of like what the early church called mystagogia. You know, mystagogia means when I was studying the Christian faith before I was baptized, I had no idea what any of it meant. Maybe here, but certainly I didn't experience it completely. And then while you're going through the baptism, while you're coming into the church, I have no idea what's going on. Some people tell me they don't even remember their baptism, like that's how. So then the mystagogy is what happens afterwards. The study, or maybe a better word is reflection. A reflection on the mystery that has occurred to me, that has occurred within me, right? So, the same, mystagogically, we are now looking at Pascha, because who knows what happens on Pascha? Something crazy is always going on Pascha. Why? Because night is day, day is night, like midnight is like high noon. It's up is down, black is white. What? So now, on Antipascha, we say, let's reflect on that. We believe that that's all true. It wasn't just a reaction on our part. We were doing it out of this deep commitment, this deep understanding and experience of what we know to be the truth of the resurrection. But now let's take it into ourselves personally, right? Like Thomas. When he finally says, "My Lord and my God." Now the resurrection means something. So today is a day for the resurrection to not just be like shouted out, but it's to go deep and to mean something for you, each of us, corporately as a parish, as a community, but individually and as families. Has a deep inner meaning, and whatever problems. Is it possible to have problems at Pascha? Whatever problems there are, they get swallowed up in the resurrection. Why? Because of the meaning that we assign to it in our hearts. I lost all my money, but Christ is risen. I am very sick, but Christ is so risen, even though I can't even get out of bed. You see? What does that matter? What does that matter? How about someday I'll say, I am dead. I have died the first death when I go to the cemetery. But Christ is risen. That's why, when we shout it out to the tombstones, you should get an answer back, no question. Because they know the meaning. So for those who've never heard the story, I'll close with this one. For those who had, it's Pascha, it's good to hear it again. So years ago when I went to the Soviet Union, 1989, we went to Kiev, to the Kievan Caves Monastery, which was just opening up the catacombs. One catacomb was open, where all the Holy Fathers are buried down below there. So my priest friend and I went down into the catacombs, and the monk who was showing us around told us the name of each of the saints who were still incorrupted. Their bodies were incorrupted. There were some that were corrupted, but the ones that were incorrupted had a vigil lamp, and we took a little holy oil from each of the vigil lamps, and then finally they took us down into a room. So the room was like that big, like that little area, and in that room were many of the Holy Fathers, like resting in shelves. Like they, instead of it in the earth, like with dirt, they were below the ground, but they were in all these shelves. On this side, monks. On this side, monks. On this side, there was also a bishop, one of their bishops, early from like the 1400s, I think. And his name was Zechariah. And every Pascha, this goes to show what we're talking about here. This is to illustrate the life and the meaning that we're reflecting on this day. Every Pascha, the deacons, go out to the cemetery. They went downstairs and they'd say, "Christ is risen," as they're sensing all the Holy Fathers. "Christos voskreσε, Christos voskreσε." And then the other deacon would say, "Voistino voskreσε." But this time the deacon started sensing, and he said, "Christos voskreσε." But before he could even get the word out, Bishop Zechariah said from the place he was lying there, "Christos voskreσε," on this side, and all the monks on this side, "Voistino voskreσε." And the way it was relayed to me is like he started sensing real fast. And the hair on the back of his neck was standing up. He said, "I never experienced that before. I never, this is like within our lifetime, within the 70s, So, this is the meaning of Pascha. To have a personal revelation, if you will. God bless us if we don't need to have a revelation. Blessed are those who do not need to see to believe, right? We believe all of that. We believe, therefore, that at the end of times, we will all rise from the dead. You will rise from the first death, right? And by the grace of God, and by your first resurrection, your baptism, and you're living the baptismal life, you will not die the second death. That's the key. That's the key. The first death, well, it's nothing anymore because of this reality of Pascha that we're celebrating. So reflect on that and realize that when we say Christ is risen, indeed he is risen, it means, and also I am going to be risen from the dead. And also everybody who I'm with is going to be risen from the dead. So there's no problems. There's no ever animosity or struggles or strife, that can be more powerful than this, unless I let it become that way. So why would I do that? Why would you do that? Don't do it. That's all. Now that you have Pascha, you have everything. Now that you have Pascha, you need nothing. You need nothing else. This is what Thomas finally realized, and he said, my Lord and my God, what do I need to do now? They're all ready now for the big life of crucifixion and martyrdom themselves, because they saw what's on the other side of the cross. And the apostles, if you study each of their lives after the whole Acts of the Holy Apostles, if you go all the way to the end of each of their lives, they lived this joyful cross bearing. They bore their crosses incredibly, going to all different points on the globe, and they did it with joy. And they did it among people they had no idea, no language. The language was different. The culture was crazy. They were filled with pagans doing all kinds of crazy things. And they were right in there, and they brought this light, this paschal joy with them. It's irresistible. They went to all the wild places and say, Christ is risen everywhere. They went to Romania, to Dacia, and they converted up to, Scythia. Can you imagine living in a place called Scythia? It's like Armenia out in that, and everywhere, Egypt. And they brought this Paschal light with them. So, what will you do now with that? This week, this 40 days. It's not just for you. The first time it was for you, when Christ said, peace be to you, the apostles. The second time, with Thomas, peace be to you, he said to all of them again. Now, go and proclaim it. Whoever sins you forgive, they are forgiven. You have to do some work. But it's not work. It's Paschal joy. That's our work. That's our life. That's our Christ is risen.
He is risen.